Hi, John.
Hi, Nancy. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing good. It's good to see you again. So, tell me about your week.
Whew. Well, my week has been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know the last couple of sessions I've been telling you about my stepmother and all my family issues and everything that's been going on, my anger issues, and all of that. But my week has kind of gone better as to the fact that I've kind of gotten closer to my brothers and sisters.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They're finally coming back around.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said getting closer to them, what do you mean by that?
We're talking a lot more. We're
Okay.
we're meeting a lot more. I just have questions, and one of my brothers he answers my questions because he knows a lot about dad and about what's going on and all that, and even he thinks that there's something, kind of the same. There's a hen in the hen house, basically. There's a secret being held, and nobody's letting on to what that secret is. So I'm more optimistic now because I'm really starting to think that my father isn't my father.
Okay, and that's making you feel optimistic.
Optimistic because in the fact that it, I, optimistic in the fact because I'm getting closer to my mom.
Okay.
To who my real biological mother would be. Optimistic in the fact that I'm kind of relieved that I'm starting to think that I'm not part of this family unit that I feel like born into.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm hopeful to find out who I really am, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
Those are all good things to
I'm
be
I'm
optimistic
I'm
about.
optimistic in that fact, and maybe even a little bit relieved.
Okay.
I mean, all my life, my stepmother, she was cruel. I mean, if you look at the old Disney, stepmother scenario, she fits that scenario.
Oh, wow.
And my father, he was loving and caring, but I never had a connection with. I had a connection with him, and I mean, I modeled myself after him, but I always had doubt that he was actually my father. I mean, to be honest with you, I've always doubted that. Some kids, they grow up and they say, well, I wish you weren't my parent, but usually that ends at what age, all my life I've kind of wished that they weren't my parents,
Yeah.
and but it doesn't have nothing to do with the fact that I really, that I really genuinely felt that way about them. It had more to do with the fact that I'm just felt like I never belonged within that family unit, within my family unit. Like I said, the only people that really made me welcome were my brothers and my sisters. Especially the brother who I'm connecting with now more than ever.
Yeah.
So, with a lot of different things that are going on, I think I'm closer to the truth in that, and I'm really glad that you suggested that maybe I try to go out and seek out who my real mother was. So, it's just moving on from there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it must have been really tough to feel like you didn't belong.
It did. I mean, well, it didn't help either. They would have the main table where the family would sit. They kind of put me off to the corner, during family functions and stuff like that for Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays. I
So
got
not only did you feel it, but you actually were physically separated.
Yeah, and that was more due to my stepmother than anything else.
Okay.
She would single me out. She'd always say I was a bastard. I was not really part of the family. She'd always look at me with disgust. Like I told you, she told me one time that she wished I wasn't born. Just different things, and I don't understand. I mean, I know it probably goes deeper than just her not liking me. The fact that my father was, or the man who says who's my father, stated that he did have an affair basically, and that I was from that affair. But I don't know. I don't even buy that story, to tell you the truth, because he's real vague. Unless he's really embarrassed, to talk about it, and really shame to my stepmom about him doing it. I mean, he's real vague and the answers he's given me. And like I said, he's dead and no longer here. My stepmom's dead too, so they're no longer here. Yeah, they're no longer here. in the process to answer these questions,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and this is something that I'm kind of caught by myself trying to figure out on my own.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
I've you would be happy to know though I've kind of cut down on the fighting and the bar
Good.
brawls and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. You know,
That is very
I took your advice. It's kind of not healthy.
right.
You know, and I'm trying to form better habits and form a better relationship as far as with my girlfriend and of course with my brothers and sisters. Maybe that's after the last few sessions I've kind of come to realize that, you know, as we were talking about, it's kind of not healthy or productive.
Yeah.
You know, and
Tell me a little bit more about your girlfriend.
my girlfriend's wonderful. I got to tell you that. You know, we're kind of similar in a lot of ways. You know, she grew up not knowing who her mom was as well,
Wow.
and she comes from a different country actually.
Mhm.
She's from Spain,
Okay.
and she basically she didn't she knew who her father was, but her father, from what I believe, died when she was very very young. She was kind of her and her mom and brother were kind of homeless, and her brother tried to do things like they believed in arranged marriages over there.
Okay.
So they tried to marry her off at a young age, and she just wasn't having it. You know, she kind of broke out on her own, ran away, stuff like that. You know, so she's gone through her own struggle. You know,
Sure.
and as far as not knowing who her family is, and it's kind of funny because she just comes into the mix kind of at the right time. You know, and kind of feed off of each other. You know, when she's strong, I'm strong. Vice versa, when I'm strong, she's strong. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a deeper connection there than just, you know, girlfriend and boyfriend or.
Well, it seems to me that that's quite a an important relationship for you, because it's like finding somebody who's gone through similar things as you have can be very powerful and very like connecting.
It's almost like, I don't know how do you say it. She's like guiding me, you know, like I have some type of support now. I have her, and I know that. I mean, I know logically we talk about this. Her and I talk about this all the time. I can't put all my support onto her, you know, but I really feel close to her. I really feel like she's a big part of my life, and I really feel the reason why I'm getting out of this funk and stopping a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, you know, the unhealthy behaviors and everything, like the fighting and everything, is because of her. Okay. So I kind of find myself kind of molding my life a little bit more around her, you know?
Yeah, it seems like a really interesting relationship. How do you feel most of the time when you're with her?
I definitely feel a lot better. I feel happy. I feel like there's no lies held between us. I mean, I feel like I can live a normal life, to tell you the truth.
Do you feel connected to her?
Yeah, I feel very connected to her, actually.
Seems like quite a difference from your stepmother.
Yeah.
A relationship with a woman like that,
yeah.
And then now having a relationship with somebody like this.
Yeah.
Seems like it must have some kind of positive influence
on
your life.
And my relationships before with women were toxic. They were there was only one thing, and either I wanted it out of whatever partnership you want to call it or whatever, or they wanted it, but it wasn't a healthy relationship, basically. And that's why they would always end horribly. And in fact, one of them ended very horribly. Or just in general, you know, end because neither of us found that it was productive for us to be together, you know, basically. But with my girlfriend now, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
There's not a final. Since the day we met, we've been together. There's been no separation. There's been no, and I want to think that, I kind of think that I provide something for her just like she does for me, and we have that connection. You know, it's really it's a deep connection. You know, and I could even see myself maybe having kids with her one day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of changed my attitude about things, because I don't want my child to feel like they're ever be called a bastard.
Right.
You know, I don't want any other man to ever raise my child. or I don't want something if I was continuing those behaviors of fighting or getting into brawls or fighting or anything like that, going to war all the time. I don't think that would be productive for my kid because I don't want him to grow without a father because the chances of me dying in something like that just escalated a lot more, so I never wanted, if I was going to have any children, I didn't want them to not have a father because I know how that feeling is.
Right. But it sounds like you've really thought about that, like the cycle of life and sort of the generational cycles that we can sometimes fall into.
Yeah.
Sounds like you really are ready to stop some of those cycles.
Yeah, I definitely do want to stop that. I don't want those things to happen to them, and I just want to be a good, if we ever did get married or got together, I want to be a good father and a good husband. I mean, that's my overall good. I'm really a kind-hearted person, and that's something that my father or my stepmother never took the time to really know who I was. My father would at times try to, but then my stepmother would override kind of what was going on, and he'd go back to ignoring me and other things when I felt like I was developing something with him, and that's one thing I always wanted to do. I wanted to have a good relationship with my mom and a good relationship with my dad. And more than even that, I just want to know who I am and where I come from, so I can pass on that information to my kids when I do, because I am actually looking forward to having a family maybe one day, and there has been talk between her and I of doing this, so everybody talks about, well, what would we do if we have a family, or what kind of a parent would you be, or it's like when I talk about things like that, it helps me look forward to what's going on, but like I said, I am closer to hopefully finding out who my real mother is, and hopefully closer to finding out if my father is actually my father. So I wish they were here to explain it to me, but they're not. So either both of them are dead. So
it makes it a little more difficult to find out.
It does.
Well, it's interesting, John, because your story sort of reminds me of an archetype.
Yeah.
Which is there's different archetypes for different types of people, and yours sort of sounds like the hero archetype. Yeah. And in those stories, like the mythological stories, the hero sort of usually always goes on a journey, and then along the journey, he gets sort of swallowed by or taken by or captured by, his dragon or his monster.
Yeah.
And then he eventually has to slay that monster.
Yeah.
And then he gets to go back and retell the story in a new way, right?
Yeah.
So like what you're saying is, it's like you're ready to find those answers in order for you to go back.
Yeah.
And maybe begin your own story with your own family.
Yes.
So if we were talking like that and we were imagining that you were the hero, what is your dragon?
I want to say that my dragon is obviously depression, but also my self-identity more than anything else. I want to know who I am. I know who I am, and I know it shouldn't matter because I already know who I am, but I want to know things like why am I such a good fighter? Why am I comfortable when I get into that? Why do I prefer to fight than anything else? And why do I have like a bigger dream? I have a bigger dream of like you say, I have that hero sense, and I wonder if I put that hero, how do you say, the persona to myself, because I always wanted to be the one to save things and save people and stuff like that. I mean, even when I was young, I was doing that with my own brothers and sisters. I was always there for them. I was always saving them, but yet I was the one that was stomped under the ground. Right. And I just would like to save myself this time. I'm not saving anybody else, but I know that I've gone on for the last 12 years, all my life, actually, not 12 years, but even more in my adulthood, just, putting that hero persona there and living by that and making it a part of my life that now it's so ingrained with me that I think that I'm tired of saving other people. I just want to save myself.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. Well, you said earlier that you know who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are your strengths?
My strengths are, one of them. I guess I don't know if it's a good strength or not, but I'm a good fighter. You know, I don't know when I go into battle, or when I was on deployment with in the army, I felt comfortable there. When I was bullets would fly, as to say how things would happen, and I'd be calm, and I found like a sense of home there. And I don't know if that's, I don't know, because I believed in a bigger cause, the cause of our country, know, and I don't know if I kind of put that forward and put that as my hope, because it helped me to live every day while I was there, number one, and number two, just in general live.
Sure.
But I got stuck on that ideal, and that's where I stayed, and that's where I found solace, with the people I served with, and that was like family. That was like a second family for me, But I don't. Now that all that's over with, and I'm here, and I'm moving forward, that doesn't work, and and I can't be in constant battle, because that just doesn't happen, and part of it is, like I said, this is where all my questions about my mom and who I am come up in my life, at least over there, for whatever reason, fighting, and maybe that's why I fought as much as I did, because it was the only thing that made any sense to me at the time. Because I knew that there was a beginning, a middle, and an end. Whether it was my end or their end, there was always an end. I could always expect it. But with this situation of trying to find who my real mom is, and if my dad is really my dad, I don't know what the end of that is, and I think I'm afraid of it.
Afraid of it? What do you mean by that?
Like, who are my parents really going to be? Is my dad really my dad? Is my dad some other person that I'm not even going to like, or is he just as does he have a hero persona like me? Or is my mom that way? I've been told different stories about an aunt that I had. I don't know, and I think I even mentioned one time that she could possibly be my mom. I don't know. I don't know. But that's something that we're trying to work out now. We're trying to figure out. The funny thing about family secrets, they all have a way of rearing their ugly head at the end.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm kind of afraid of what's going to come out of that. And I don't. That chapter isn't written yet.
It's the fear of just the unknown.
Yeah.
It's a
fear that is it going to make me less of a person? And I'm afraid of that. Am I from a family of nothing but drug dealers? I mean, am I going to find out secrets
But does that really change who you are?
No, it doesn't. And that's true. And that's where I'm having the struggle. Because I am a good person. I do feel. I have realized that, and my girlfriend has helped me to realize that I'm a good person, and I care.
Well, just from what you just said, I mean, your dedication is very strong. And I know that you're going to follow through with that, because that's part of who you are, and your dedication to really figuring out your pieces. And like I said, I'm here to help you to, we can just sort of look at those pieces and see what they really mean to you. Just having the dialogue about it, I think, can be really helpful for you at this time as you're finding more and more.
Yeah.
How would you want to proceed? What do you think would be our next step?
Well, the next step is to, I've heard different things, and me and my brother have kind of talked about different stories that are out there. I think the next step is to, I'll be honest, I'm ready to find out who my real mom is, and the truth about my father. I think that would be the next step for me to feeling complete in who I am. I just got to prepare myself for the outcome, and that's another next step as well, to prepare myself for the outcome of who they might be, of who my real parents are.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and just go from there. You
Well,
know,
I think that's great because I think that we can really do that here. We can talk about outcomes and possibilities and maybe even help you to prepare a narrative for what if.
Yeah.
You know, and then that might help the process along a little bit better.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that would be something that we need to work towards here in our session. So, and I'm gonna work towards that.
Okay. Well, that sounds great then.
Okay.
Good. All right. Well, then we'll see you next week.
Yes, I will be here
Okay.
same time. Thank
Great.
you very much.